I am, even today, a huge fan of SpongeBob SquarePants. The whimsical, playful writing always got a laugh out of me, even today as an adult, where you tend to get the darker undertones of the show, which make you enjoy the experience of watching the episodes over again. Around 2 weeks ago, I was just chilling on the internet, bored out of my mind, and then it hit me. SpongeBob. I decided to watch one of my favorite episodes, SB-129, the one where Squidward travels through time to avoid SpongeBob and Patrick. I went to one of my favorite sites to watch the episode. Something was off. The episode was titled SB-129 Original Version. I assume this was to get my attention. I've never heard of an original version or a deleted scene from SB-129, so this just seemed like BS, but I gave it a chance anyway. The episode began as normal, with Squidward got his clarinet stuck in his throat and SpongeBob asked him to go jellyfishing. The strange thing about this scene was that Squidward's voice, for some unexplained reason, sounded audible, and he said something along the lines of, "Jellyfishing? I'd rather burn to death and sizzle away than do that with you." His eyes were bloodshot at this point. This seemed very off, how Squidward was talking about death in that sort of way. His anger wasn't cartoonish at all, and it seemed like genuine, unscripted hatred. This is where the show gets disturbing. Squidward throws a brick at SpongeBob. This knocks him down. Squidward jumps into his window and repeatedly bashes him. SpongeBob's voice sounded like he was dying and screaming from the pain. This goes on for 20 seconds until you hear SpongeBob's voice fade away. There is no blood, but part of SpongeBob's flesh was on the brick. I almost threw up at this point. Patrick walks to SpongeBob's house and Squidward has a diabolical look on his face. He points to him and screams, "Die, starfish!" He grabs a hook from SpongeBob's wall and slashes it at Patrick, cutting him up, limb from limb. Again, no blood was present, but this still was horrifying to watch. I threw up at this part. The police get word of SpongeBob and Patrick's murder, and the news gives an actual report on the incident, seeing Squidward as a potential suspect. Squidward then runs into the Krusty Krab and hides in the freezer. The cops walk through the Krusty Krab but fail at reaching Squidward. 2,000 years pass and Squidward wakes up in the future. There is no SpongeBob or Spongetron to free Squidward, but he dethaws anyway. Spongetron and Patron is shown to not exist, as his ancestor hasn't had children yet. The time machine is still produced though, and Squidward wanders around looking for an answer. Squidward finds the time machine and breaks down. He feels apologetic for killing SpongeBob and Patrick and cries for 20 seconds, so he travels back in time to prevent it from happening. However, Squidward fails to reach the correct time period and ends up in the prehistoric times. He meets primitive SpongeBob and Star. No change is visual here, but Squidward teaches them jellyfishing in SpongeBob and Patrick's honor. The primitives aren't helpful though, and chase him down anyway. This time they maul Squidward to death. It's shown that they eat him and chop up his flesh into bits. They throw his remains in the time machine and his detached nose activates the time machine. The time machine gets flattened like in the original version of the episode, but Squidward is crushed entirely and his soul breaks free. Squidward's blue transparent self remains in nowhere. This is where the episode gets sad. SpongeBob and Patrick's ghosts are in nowhere as well. Squidward apologizes for his actions to them. He begs for their forgiveness, and they give it to him. SpongeBob and Patrick also apologized for their behavior, the times they bothered him, and making everything worse to just plain annoy Squid in general. They all hug. This part sort of made me smile. At the end, Squidward wakes up. This whole episode is revealed to be a dream. He has a tear roll down his face and smiles. Maybe we can all be friends. The episode ends at this point. I have no words for what I just saw. I tried to replay the episode, but the file was mysteriously deleted. If anyone saw the true episode of the version, please let me know.